Hey everybody, we're proud to announce our Saturday morning cartoons brought to you by Hey Poopy Podcast.
Dumping every fourth Saturday of the month.
Stories taken directly from our interviews. These are one-of-a-kind masterpieces of hilarious proportions.
Animated by Matt Holtzclaw, our very first guest of the podcast.
We are so excited, we're going to poop our pants!
For more information, go to heypoopypodcast.com.
Hey Poopy, how you doing? Hey Poopy, how you doing?
I'm just, trying to find a place with like-minded people to talk about like-minded things about me, about poop and stuff.
Hey Poopy, how you doing? Hey Poopy, how you doing?
Oh man, what's this right here? Is this a podcast about poop?
And now, the Hey Poopy Podcast with Dave and Ellen.
Ah, yes. Another day.
Hey everybody.
How's it going? We are back.
Yes, it's another dump day, and this is the Hey Poopy Podcast with
Dave.
and Ellen, and this is episode number 66, but it'll always be number 2 to us. And we have a beyond special guest this week, Margaret Cho.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you so much. I'm like so nervous right now. I don't even but yeah, thank you so much for being on our little shitty show.
Thank you.
Totally.
So we usually start off with asking our guests how their poops have been, and since you're our guest, we kind of wanted to know, how have your poops been?
Well, mine have been giant because it's I've been eating a lot of not prunes but dried plums, and for some reason the dried fruit thing, it's like, I don't know what it does, but it really dislodges anything in there. So it makes it really, I don't know, it's like nature's broom, but it's also, I don't know, like it just gets everything out, like everything that's like hanging around. Because I feel, I just, I want to get it all out in the open, whatever's in there.
Yeah.
But and since there's like unlimited amount of time, because usually I don't want to be in the toilet that much. I don't want to be on the toilet that much.
Yeah.
I'm on the go. I'm busy. I'm in my car. In LA, we're always in our car.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that. But here now it's like there's so much unstructured time. I have the time to really clean out. And I've done this before where I actually went to this place in San Diego, and it's this institute where you go to shit for like a week. It's not a week, it's like 5 days. And they give you like this thing called Rejuvelac, which is like this weird, it's like a drink, but it has like living organisms inside that's like a flush. And so you just drink this drink, and they give you like living food, like it's just kind of like raw food or whatever, and then it's so that all you do all day is shit. And then,
oh my God.
So it's like a shit vacation, and then it's kind of intense because some people like do it and they'll like die while they're there.
Really?
But it's like, yeah, there was one guy who died when we were there. There was another guy who, and then when I was there, there's famous people, like when I was there, Liza Minnelli and Ben Vereen were there. It's usually people from like Broadway.
Ben Vereen?
Usually people from like Broadway or like, that era of showbiz, like a Bob Fosse era of showbiz.
Yeah.
So I sort of had like that idea that I'm kind of there in my mind, even though it's like much longer than a week, much longer than 5 days. It's like, I'm doing my shit vacation now.
Oh my God.
It's very large.
Dave, we have to go there. That's like a field trip.
Oh yeah, that sounds amazing.
For a proper shit vacation.
Also,
even though
yes.
every day is a shit vacation for me.
Totally. And I kind of want to meet Ben Vereen.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get lucky. Oh my God.
He was actually like more than he was a guest lecturer because he was not really a participant. He was coming in to give a talk. So
he was a poop lecturer?
He was there to give a talk. Like he was there to kind of give us a boost because at that point we were just really tired and I think because it takes a lot out of you, obviously, because if you're just sitting, you're really exhausted. So he was there to give us some boost in morale, and he's very motivational.
Yeah. He gave you a poop talk.
That's incredible.
Yeah, poop talk.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. That's awesome.
That is a pretty epic check-in, I just want to say.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Ellen,
what about you, Dave? How's your poops been?
I had a really big one today. I had a really, really big one. It just felt amazing. That release, that final, like, where you're just kind of like, oh my God. But it was big. It was like a number 4 in the Bristol stool chart.
Ooh.
So it was like a nice,
that's a good one.
Yeah, gold standard, smooth move. It was nice. It was very satisfying.
I've had 2 today. I had like a 4.5. So it was like a sausage, but it was like breaking apart a little. And then I had like a little encore about an hour later, which was like a smaller version of the first one. So, so far, so good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still thinking about Ben Vereen giving that talk. I don't know why. It's just,
well, it is. It was really inspirational. And, I mean, the whole place, it's called Optimum Health Institute, and it has something to do with raw food and kind of vegetarianism, but it's also, there's a bit of like, kind of like rehab, not rehab, but like kind of like a little bit of a sober kind of a thing to it, but it's not a sober living or it's not a rehab, but I think that's I think people do go for that too, to get off of drugs. So there's a bit of that.
Okay.
It's like a big detox.
Yeah.
Kind of a detox. And like a lot of people go to cure themselves from cancer. I think a lot of people go as almost a last resort. They're like going because the cancer treatments have failed them. Or when I went, there was a few people who were, they were like in the final stages of AIDS, and they were like trying to figure out like what they were going to do, their next thing. So that they were there for that. And so, there were different kinds of things that people were dealing with health-wise. I was just going for fun, which doesn't really make sense. But actually, when I went, it was weird because I started growing all these weird things in my body because I'm such a I'm such a chemically invested person. Like I drink soda and whatever. I just eat bad food all the time. So I was eating so clean that all these like weird archipelagos of like rashes developed on my skin, and very strange things started happening. And I would get huge bowel movements and just very strange occurrences because I was not imbibing all of the chemicals that I normally do.
Right.
Oh.
Your body's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it was really weird, but and giant poos, and then strange shapes and weird colors, and
what was the weirdest color?
I think probably like weird, bluish, greenish shaped stones, but yeah, the skin eruptions were the weirdest because they would go away like they would look like hives, but then they would go away like really fast. So
it's like you're having like an allergic reaction to detoxing.
Yeah. So it was very, very, very strange. Like I had never experienced anything like that before. But I used to go for like my Christmas holiday every year for a few years. I stopped doing it because it was just, it sort of became annoying after a while. Like I was like, this is like, I want to just actually like have a good time instead of detoxing.
How many times did you go?
I think I went like 3 years in a row.
Wow. Oh, wow.
But then it was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's like, I sort of got over it.
Yeah. Been there, done that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would
goodness.
totally go for fun, just to say I did.
Yeah.
It is kind of fun. It's kind of fun because it's like, it is I think in a way it's a kind of a classic like Fat Farm, you know, like they're in a way like it's like the 70s equivalent to what those are, like a legit like a Fat Farm. That's really what it is technically. But they use different language. Of course, it's not like politically correct to call it that, but that's what it is, I think.
Yeah. We have to check that out.
Yeah. I want to go. I already wrote it down. We have to figure that one out. I want to go on more tours about different kinds of like from fancy poop places to like scary poop places to like just insane detox places. That'd be great.
They have the high colonics, which I always appreciate too, which I always like really get into. I love a colonic.
Yes.
Because you would get the colonics, and then you would also have the enemas that you would do in your room. So you would have multiple, in addition to like the food flushing kind of diet, you would have massages every day that would be technically set up to dislodge all of the like kind of stalactites in your colon.
Yeah.
And then you have the high colonics that would just flush it all out. And then you could watch, so you could like have the sort of cot set up so you could watch all of the shit being flushed out. That to me is the best. It's so fun because I would watch like old shrimp being like taken down, and then there would be like pennies and stuff in there.
Yes.
Like, how did that get, like an anchor? Like, it was so crazy, all the stuff that would be in there. It
Old
was
tire.
so weird.
Yeah, it's so funny because they're oh god, you're jogging my memory now. I think there was an old either Details magazine or Esquire magazine article about a writer and a photographer that went to a place like this, maybe in Bali or Thailand. Similar to this, they were there for like a week, and they had like a certain kind of meal you can eat. They get massages, and every night towards like the third day, people were just talking about what they kept finding, like what they kept seeing.
Yeah.
And just like one guy passed like a marble. One guy it was like a partially like as like a was like a little plastic army man, not the whole thing, but like the leg part of like a thing he swallowed when he was a little kid that came out. It was crazy.
God.
Yeah.
And like, there was always like gum, like chewed up gum, or like just weird things that you can't believe is still in there. But yeah, you'll find amazing stuff. Like those things that they used to shoot out of like those Star Wars like Death Star toys that like they outlawed because kids were like suffocating on them. But they, I think that they just you find weird things. But that was part of the entertainment is going through all of the stuff that you find in your colon.
Yeah.
It's
that's
like
amazing.
It's like a weird like garage sale of like items that you can just like
definitely, it's really fun.
Nice.
So Margaret, before we go into our normal questions, we usually ask our guests to talk a little bit about themselves before we go into their poo. Enough people, I think, know you. I've listened. I follow you on Instagram. I listen to your audiobook. I've been a fan of yours for years. But is there anything you want to fill in to people who may not know you? I would be insulted if they don't. But
well, I'm a comedian. I am a dog lover, which is my dog wants you to know that. She's running around. I live in Los Angeles. I'm Asian American. I'm queer. Let's see. I think that I'm probably, if you saw me around and doing comedy, I was probably the first Asian American comedian that people saw in the 90s on television. And so I do a lot of different things, but stand-up comedy is my main art form and what I'll always do. So yeah, why is she screaming? Oh, I see why. Okay, her friend here. I see.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, we right before we officially booked you for the podcast, I follow your Instagram, and you have those amazing. There's that artist who retouches your face onto so many pictures.
Yes, Ronald McDonkey.
Yes.
And there was one where he retouched your face onto a bald girl who was sitting on the toilet, and I took that picture and I posted it on our Instagram, the Hey Poopy Instagram, saying "hot babe on the bowl," and I was like, yes, I understand that this is retouched, but Margaret is a hot babe and she's sitting on the bowl. So, and then like 2 weeks later, we booked you for the podcast, and I was like, oh my God, she's a hot babe on the bowl.
Yeah, we're very excited. It's so good.
I love
That was
it.
very serendipitous.
That is.
Yes. Oh my God, my dog! I think my dog hears your dog because she's whining. It's so funny.
Oh, that's so cute.
Cool. So we sent you the questions beforehand, but if you have any like things you want to tell us, or we can just go through the questions.
Okay, yeah.
We love to know what kind of toilet paper do you use, and do you hang it over or under on the roll?
I am a underhanger.
Yes.
And I definitely am brand loyal to Charmin because there is. So I have a friend at Charmin. I worked with Charmin actually years ago. I used to do a homeless outreach, and Charmin was so kind as to donate an entire truckload to my outreach, which was so amazing. And so I was just so touched by their incredible donation that I'm a really, really brand loyal. I think that they're great. And I mean, you know, it's a really meaningful gesture, but it's also, you know, something that I think is really, it just made me want to like support them. And so, I also really love their like Mr. Whipple campaign in
Oh my God.
the 70s or the 80s.
I forgot about Mr. Whipple.
Don't squeeze the Charmin,
Yes.
Mr. Whipple. I actually have an old T-shirt that's like a Mr. Whipple. It's like one of my favorite shirts, but it's like of Mr. Whipple, which is so funny. But I think it's like I definitely have a sentimental feeling towards the company, and definitely it was made even more so because of my relationship with them, because of their charity. And I think we're also probably social media friends because of that too. But I definitely have a real loyalty to them.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Well, I didn't think I could love you more, but the fact that you put the toilet paper roll on under, that's my preferred.
It just seems right, don't you think? I think that seems like because it seems to dispense more practically that way.
Yes, and I think aesthetically I like it better. I mean,
aesthetically it's better.
I mean, I would say 99% of the people we have on this show are over.
Not that much.
It's a lot. Okay, like 98. Sorry.
85% of people are over.
I think you're being generous. But yes, I'm glad there's a fellow under.
Because the gravity seems to help you if it's under. I think aesthetically it's more pleasing. I think that practically, if you're talking about if gravity is there to help you, I feel like under is the way to go. I think under is the way to go.
Yeah, I'm with you. High five on that one.
High five.
Yeah, whenever we have an over person on the show, Dave is like, okay, yeah, whatever. But when he gets an under person on the show, he gets so excited.
I do.
Yeah, it's great. That's great.
Ellen goes into people's houses, and if it's like on the incorrect way, according to her, she turns the roll around. She flips it around. She's like,
I will.
Like evil.
No, it's very awful of me, but I feel like I'm helping them.
Oh my God.
And then our favorite question is floor or pants, meaning if Bristol number 7 is coming out of you and there's no toilet in sight, will you go in your pants or will you go on the floor or ground?
Oh, floor
Perfect.
or ground. Oh, the floor, because it's like, it's so, I think it's easier to clean it up if it's on the floor. The pants is like, what are you going to do? Like turn it out of I mean, I think like turning the pants inside out into like a sink or into the toilet, like there's so much I don't know. Like I have experience with this, and so I always just turn it out onto the floor. Like I just do it on the floor. I think it's easier.
And tell us about your experience with this.
Well, this happened not that long ago. It was probably maybe in February, and I shit on the floor a little bit, and it was like. It was kind of like not that big of a deal, but it was like this thing of like, I'm just going to like shit on the floor. It's like a floor thing.
Where were you?
It was in my house.
Oh,
okay.
It's always in my
Amazing.
house. But it's like, I hate shitting in pants because it's like, what are you going to throw the pants away? Are you going to like, I mean, I think it's like, what are you going to do with the pants? Because the pants, I think, are more valuable than... The floor seems like it's more resilient. It can handle the shit better than the pants. The pants are, I don't know. Like if I shit in pants, I don't want to see those pants again.
Yeah.
So I think I have like, I feel like I blame the pants, and so I would just rather not have that, like sort of resounding blame for the pants. I want to just shit on the floor.
Those pants they're like marked. They're like evil at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it makes way more of a mess if you're going to shit your pants. I mean, I get it can be circumstantial, but I'm with you, floor for sure.
Yeah, the floor for sure. And it's probably going to get on the floor anyway, so it's just like put it all on the floor.
Wait, but you were in your house, so was your toilet like predisposed? Like
I think it was I think it was just like I couldn't make it, and it was like I was sick and I couldn't make it, and it was sort of like, and I kind of found it later. Like I was so sick that I didn't realize that I had shit on the floor, and then it was like much later, and it had dried.
Oh my god!
It wasn't that much.
Okay.
It was like kind of like a little bit, and then I stepped on it, and I was like,
oh no! You're like,
but it had dried after I stepped on it, and then it was like, did I do this? Did my dog do this? And then it was like, oh, clear, it was me. You know what it's you.
That would be my thing. I'd be like, I totally, a pet did that, and I would even if I knew it was me, I'd still blame it on the pet.
Yeah. But it was my dog is so small, and it was so large that I was like, I couldn't. Don't try to kid yourself.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't. I'm like not going to lie to myself about this. This is like clearly my asshole did this. So I can't, and because she's so small, I'm not going to lay blame.
Yeah.
Too funny.
I don't mean it. You made me think of something. You did a stand-up special for Comedy Central like a long time ago. I think it's the first time I saw you like on TV actually. And you mentioned this. I don't know how. I guess I remember this because we're interviewing today, so it just popped back in my head. You told some story about your brother, I think, shitting in a fishbowl or fish tank or something like that.
Yeah.
Was that real?
Yeah. That's real. He did. And I think it was probably. I mean, he was really little.
Oh, okay.
So that was. I mean, part of it was that he was really, really little. And it was a really little turd. And the fishbowl was on the floor.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of different factors that kind of made it, not that it was okay, but he was probably like 4 or 5 years old.
And how old were you?
I was about 10.
Okay.
So, but yeah, they're going to shit. I mean, he didn't really, he was just sort of learning about where to shit.
Right.
And then, like a fishbowl seemed like kind of like, this is kind of like a toilet.
Yeah. I could
see where you would make that mistake.
I just remember laughing so hard about that bit just because in my head, I thought your brother was like, oh my God, this is like he was like 15 or something like that. Or like just came in your room and just did it like in your...
No. He was about 4 or 5 years old. And but the turd was small. And then it was like the goldfish was like, I know the joke was the goldfish was like standing on the turd like he was a lumberjack.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes. Oh my God.
Wait, but why was the fishbowl on the floor to begin with?
I think it was moving bedrooms or something, and so I was moving it seemed like that was the case. I was moving the bedroom to another room. moving bedrooms, and so the fish tank was on the floor for a brief moment.
Right, and he just got
And
in
he
there.
took that opportunity to shit on it. Because, you know,
Oh my god! Yeah,
what you would
that
do.
I just
funny.
it jogged my memory today that we were interviewing. I just thought of that bit, and I was like, oh my god, that was
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great childhood memory of
Yeah,
poop and
yeah.
farts. Do you have any other
there-
childhood memories of poop and farts?
Yeah, there was a lot of shitting and pooing, like always shitting. I was always shitting somewhere. Or I remember there was a girl that lived next door to us, and then she shit in the flower box in her backyard, and then her dog, she had a big German Shepherd, came up and ate it, and I was like, I was so shocked. Because we didn't have a dog. That's why I was like, oh my God, that's what happens when you have a dog. You know, that was what was really surprising to me. I realized that's not what happens when you have a dog, but it was really like a real shock. I remember that. I remember, like, there's a couple instances where, like, people would shit, like, remember when, like, kids would shit in school and then they would have, like, their jacket around their waist? Like,
Yep.
there was, like, sometimes, like, little kids, like, when they shit, they would just put, like, you would just put your jacket around your waist. And then that was sort of a thing. That was, like, the 80s solution to kids that shit in school. Not kind of a big deal, but you would just add another piece of clothing around
Yeah,
to sort of
Cover
like
it up.
yeah.
yeah, kind of like a shit shield or a tag or something. I remember that there was like this cardboard box that was like a house that we like colored with crayons. It was like a big like washing machine box or something, and kids would go in there and like fart and then come out. So that was kind of like a weird thing of like going into some place to fart and then coming out. I just remember that thing about like any sort of like enclosed playhouse thing, you would just go in and fart.
And so you were farting to make others smell it, or just because?
I think just out of like the idea of like privacy, like that was sort of like when you were learning about like, oh, certain things happen in privacy, like farting. Like when you're a kid, you start to learn about boundaries and about like, okay, well, we do this in privacy, like fart or, you know, whatever. That was one of the things that you would do, like, is fart in privacy. It's the point of the playhouse or anything like that.
Yeah.
Too
Oh
funny.
my God, that is great.
Yeah.
And then, what has been your best cure for diarrhea or constipation besides your poop holiday?
I think you just want to get it out. You know, the best cure is like just time, you know, because if you're having a diarrhea or anything like that, unless you are on some kind of like a trip where it's really inconvenient. Like I remember when I was on a road trip in Tibet and everybody had diarrhea and it was a real inconvenience. So we all took we all took some kind of diarrhea medication because we just didn't want to keep stopping. As we were on all of these mountain roads that there weren't like rest stops. It was like very hard to go to the bathroom. So we all took like something. But in general, I think it's better to just like not take anything.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if it wants to get out, let it get out. But
let it come out.
But if you have to go and do your job that day, sometimes Pepto-Bismol or something, you got to take something because you can't sit on the toilet all day.
Yeah.
You had a work
Unless
meeting?
you're in quarantine.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then you have time.
You have plenty
Then
of
you have
time.
time to sit on the toilet all day.
Because
Oh
it's
my
your
God.
body's way of getting rid of like that poison or whatever. So it's actually very productive, I think.
Completely.
Yeah.
What's the I'm sorry, what's the worst place we've ever taken a dump in?
Oh, that would be Tibet. Tibet has like the most upsetting bathrooms in the world, and I really I cannot believe some of the toilets that are just those like holes in the ground that you just go in and then you're like look down and you just see shit piles up on the side of the mountain, and I'm like, how did I don't even know, like I don't even know, but it's rough. It's really rough. Some of those toilets were really, really difficult. And that's a kind of a dark time when you're like, I don't want to shit here. You know, like when you think I'm going to shit here, like I have an opinion about how I'm going to shit here. Like that's, you shouldn't really have to have an opinion about like something like when you're going to shit on it. But my asshole would close up thinking about like, I don't want to shit here. Like my asshole would protect itself. Like my asshole was too good to shit there. Like that's kind of a crazy thought.
Oh, totally. I agree.
Especially if you had explosive diarrhea when you were in Tibet. It's
to
like
close up. Like that.
To have that sphincter control is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your asshole is just like,
No.
Like, no.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like, Dave, you have that kind of sphincter control. I do not. When my butthole is ready to unleash, it's like I have to go. I have to find a place.
No, not me.
Yeah.
My butthole gets real bougie quick.
Yeah, sometimes it does. It does get like that. It gets really like, I have an opinion about this, and it's surprising, but we have preferences.
Yeah, it's like crazy how my brain just shuts that function off when I see something that's just so disgusting. I mean, I've talked about this before in the podcast. The worst place I've taken a shit is at the CBGB's bathroom, circa 1999. And I'd gone downstairs 3 or 4 times before I finally went. And I went to the ladies' room because the men's room, there was no door. There was no, and then again, there was no stall. It was just a toilet on top of 2 stairs, and it was insane. There was just ice in the toilet, and I couldn't. So that was brutal.
Yeah, sometimes New York can be like those 90s Lower East Side, like punk rock, Alphabet City toilets. They can really be challenging, and that's definitely like the pre-Giuliani New York is a very different toilet situations. Yeah, for sure. I get it.
Yeah. There was that meme that was going around with the picture of the CBGB's bathroom that said, if you pooped in here, you are totally immune to the coronavirus.
I agree.
Dave, it's you. You're immune.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to the bathroom next door to that one, but still, yes. I mean, it shared the same cooties, I'm sure. But New York's Lower East Side bathrooms are just like, there was this infamous bar, Mars Bar, that I used to go to. And the first time I went there, I had to pee so bad. I remember the guys like, the bathroom's right there, and you could see through the door frame, and I'm like, is there someone in here? And I look, and there's 2 people fucking in the bathroom. But I still had to go pee, so I just had to wait until they were done. But it was, and I just remember being like, what is wrong with me? You could have just gone somewhere down the street. But I had to wait.
Yeah.
Do you have any other products that you have to help you poop, like a bidet, a squatty, sprays?
I have a bidet. I really love my bidet. I think it's I love it. I think it's very calming and helpful. And, certainly when everybody is hoarding toilet paper a couple weeks ago, that was just a comfort to have.
Yeah.
Completely.
I don't have a squatty potty or anything like that. But I do love my bidet.
Yeah,
do you ever have separate bidet, or is it the Snap-on?
Separate. No, I don't have a Snap-on. My parents have one. My parents have one on every toilet, and that's one of the reasons I love Japan too, because they have one on every toilet has one, and they have all. I mean, Japan is amazing with all the toilets. They have all of the functions, and they have these sprays and the fans and the sounds, the speakers, and everything. I think it's really great. But I just have a separate bidet, which is really pretty fancy and nice. But I don't have anything else.
Yeah, we're big bidet fans. We have little Snap-on
Yeah.
ones. So
Yeah, we
Oh,
have
nice,
the
nice.
Snap-on
Yeah,
ones.
I
but
love it.
Dave got me into the bidet a year and a half ago, and I was like, I can't even go back to wiping dry anymore. You have to wash.
Oh, it's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the watch is so nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
And I was
luxuriating.
I was in
Yeah.
Tokyo 2 years ago, and I had explosive diarrhea in a mall, and I had to like run into the bathroom, and all these adorable little ladies were in the line behind me, and I'm trying to turn on all the functions because I'm having explosive diarrhea to like get the sound or something, but just hot air was blowing on my butt as I'm having hot, and because I can't read Japanese, and I'm like, motherfucker,
Yeah.
can I just turn off this hot air because I don't need hot air blowing on the hot diarrhea that's coming out of
Yeah.
me. It was the biggest mess, and I couldn't figure out the right because it just wouldn't stop. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, this is evil!" But yeah, it's besides that, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Someday I'll have a toilet like that. Someday.
Do you sit or stand to wipe your butt?
Oh, sit, I think. Sit for sure. Definitely. Yeah.
The
Yeah, I
majority
think
of
so.
people sit. But
Yeah.
we've learned of a couple, like we just learned this question a couple months ago. And we learned that some people actually poop, stand up, and then wipe. And we're like, don't you
Yeah.
whoopie pie yourself that way?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that it depends on your anatomy. You know, it depends on the way people are built. But definitely sit.
And if you're in a relationship, how does your partner fare with poop talk or like past relationships or anybody?
Oh yeah, totally open with that. You know, always definitely something that's, you know, yeah, very, very much very comfortable with that.
That's
You know, I think it's definitely. I mean, it's kind of it's kind of romantic. It's kind of intimate. So yeah, for sure.
my partner. I've been with my partner for 9 years, and he's so against. Even though he
Some
thinks we're
people are,
crazy
yeah.
that we have this podcast, and so he's like warmed up to it a little bit more. But like there's certain people who are completely like opposites attract kind of thing, and then there's certain people who can poop with the door wide open.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, for sure. It's
Yeah.
very much. You know, I'm totally comfortable with that side.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife talks to me from my office with the door open all the time. So
Yeah,
no
to
big
me,
deal
it's
for
very
me.
normal.
Yeah. Especially you living with someone for so long, or you're with someone for so long, it just becomes like a thing. It's not even weird anymore.
Yeah.
But occasionally
Yeah.
I will ask her to close the door here and there. like maybe I don't know.
And your
Yeah.
office is like right across.
Yeah,
the
so
wall
there's
from
just
the
times where,
bathroom,
like,
so
you know.
it's like it's like you have a front row seat.
yeah,
Dave.
yeah, I see everything. But it's cool. It's cool, man.
Yeah.
No judgments.
And has anything poop related or fart related happened to you at work, at like during stand up or
Oh
anything?
yeah. One time I was when I was like in this phase of like wearing all white, which is really weird. I was doing a lot of yoga, which is also weird, and I was wearing all white, which I don't know why I was doing that. And then I had this weird attack where I was shitting, and then I was killing, and then I was like, I couldn't get off stage, and I backed off the stage, and it was coming out of my asshole, and I was wearing all white, and I knew that it was coming out, and I had to back up, and my car was right by the stage door, and I backed up, and I could hear them still applauding as I got in my car and I drove off. But it was like the weirdest thing where I knew it was coming out of my asshole, and I knew that I had to back out, and I was wearing all white. But it was like the last time I wore all white. But why wear all white? That was like a weird thing too. Like, why are you wearing all white when you know this is a possibility?
It failed
So
you.
it
Yeah.
really failed me. But also like wearing all white and sheer
Oh man. Oh, that's
that were like layered. So you know, there's a bunch of problems. Like,
Did
setting
anybody
myself
see
up.
you?
No.
Wow, you were stealthy.
I was really stealthy, and also I got in my car, and my car was right there. You know, so it was a kind of like an easy thing, but you know, only I knew,
yeah.
and now everybody listening to this knows. But it's just a weird. Like, why would you? do this when you know you could shit? But I didn't know. I guess I didn't know that I would shit.
Hey, you were feeling confident. You know, I get it. You're
I was feeling myself like I could wear all white, all sheer white, which is like, I didn't know I was going to shit, but then I just shit.
Do you know what you ate that made that happen?
I don't know. I don't really remember, but it was like just some kind of weirdness. Maybe it was the yoga. I don't know. It was like maybe a vegetarian, like I was too vegan or something that minute, or I'm not vegan, but I mean, maybe then. I don't know. Weird.
Oh, man. Well,
that's awesome,
the fact that you just did it all stealthy is pretty badass, though. You just kind of snuck out.
Yeah,
you're like, and thank you.
Yeah. That was good.
Oh, my
I
God.
love that.
Oh, it's funny.
Is there anything else, Margaret, you want to add to any other stories that have jogged in your memory, or?
I don't know. I think I told you everything.
I mean, they've been epic stories.
Oh, yeah. No, they're
Thank
great.
you so
They're
much.
fantastic.
I think I let you. Yeah, I think I pretty much covered it.
Yeah, you did. You did not hold back.
No.
Yeah, you floored it, you pantsed it, you did it all.
That was great.
Yeah.
Well, we have two little quick segments we do. One's called Let's Get Shitty. It's just about, it's our complaint department of the show. And it doesn't have to be poop or fart related, but you get extra points if it is. So here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for Let's Get Shitty.
Yes. Since you're our guest, if you have anything, that you want to get off your chest, it could be anything, go for it. If not, we can come back around. If you don't want to, complain either, that's fine too.
Oh, well, I'm sick of quarantining.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm really sick of quarantining. But I don't think I'm alone there. I think now it's too much, but I don't think it's going to end anytime soon, but maybe sooner than we think, hopefully. I don't know.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We'll see.
I go through this weird thing, like every couple of days I forget that I work from home, so for me this is like kind of normal, but every once in a while I'm like, oh, so I should go talk to or go see so and so, and I'm like, you can't go anywhere, motherfucker, just stop, you're stuck here. So I'm with you though. I think it's getting to be a bit too much, but you gotta do our part. Ellen, I'm sure you have something.
Yes, my Let's Get Shitty is that I have a small apartment in Brooklyn, and I have a large 90-pound pit bull doggy, and I have access to the backyard, and my boyfriend was letting the dog run out there, and while you're quarantining, we just don't want to go outside and bump into strangers who could possibly be sick or whatever. And my landlord decided to put rat poison in the backyard. So now I can't bring our dog back there. And I was like, what are you doing? The rats are literally only in the front where the garbage is. There's actually feral cats in the backyard that keep the rats away from there. And so I had to yell at him today, dude, what are you doing? And he barely speaks English, so it didn't really help. But yeah, that's my Let's Get Shitty, is my landlord's an idiot spraying rat poison down during the quarantine.
Yeah. That's weird. Oh, I'm sorry. My Let's Get Shitty is me. I went for a run today, which, okay. And I had a mask on, and I make sure I stay away from everybody. I run in the middle of the street most of the time. But I had a new mask on today, and I didn't really test drive it before, and I could barely breathe. I stepped in dog shit. I just did everything wrong. And then, I almost, tripped and fell in front of this lady with her baby carriage. And at one point, I'm just I didn't fall or anything. I almost did. And I just remember thinking, you know what? You should just stay home. Just stop. I just had, I was I got to get out of the house just for a little bit. And no one was out or anything, but it was definitely everything that could go wrong was going wrong. And it must have looked crazy, just me, with this weird, I don't even know, industrial face mask on. It didn't really fit. It was horrible. And I just shaved today. I have a beard. Well, I had a beard. And so it was a whole giant mess. So my Let's Get Shitty was me. I fucked up. But we're going to flush that away. Flush those problems away.
I wish we could really flush the quarantine away.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I just have one little news segment I was going to read. And it was kind of based around that bit about your brother shitting in the fishbowl. Which made me think. So, but I'm going to play the little theme song, and I'll go into the news thing real quick.
Ooh.
Okay, so because I kept thinking about someone shitting in a fishbowl made me laugh so hard, and thinking about that bit, I just had Googled like weirdest or strangest places people have shit in, and I got a nice little list here. And it's not really news. It's not really news so much, more as like I just wanted to find out like other weird places people have gone to the bathroom in like an emergency situation. So one of them was someone had shit into like, you know those like football like Gatorade jugs.
Oh, that's terrible.
Someone they were in a marching high school band and they were on their way home from a competition, and at 2 a.m. They couldn't find. Now there's no bathroom. Everybody was sleeping, and the person just undid the lid and took a shit into the, which I thought was hilarious.
That's funny.
Another person I just thought was really funny. This one was called the Spooky Poo. They just took a shit into a plastic shopping bag in a haunted house.
Ooh, yeah.
Which I thought was. I don't know. That one was pretty good. There was another one where a person, again, they're coming back from a high school trip, and one of the chaperones had to put a blanket over this one girl who couldn't make it, and she was shitting into another bucket, a grocery bag, and then something else. Like I can't remember what she said because the website's a little wacky here, but yeah, so these two women were just covering her up while the bus driver and everybody else could hear her taking a shit into a bucket on a crowded bus, which is like so embarrassing.
Yeah.
This last one, and there's so many good ones, but this last one I thought was awesome. This person took a huge shit at that store called Dollar Tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. This person, there was no bathroom apparently at the Dollar Tree, or at least the workers wouldn't tell this person what the bathroom was. So at this Dollar Tree, this woman was checking out with her cart. She had to go to the bathroom really bad. Couldn't find there's no garbage cans, nothing. So she had saw this one aisle with some socks in it. She ran, grabbed the socks, went into a corner of a Dollar Tree store and shit into a sock.
Oh,
and then
wow.
because there was no garbage can, she was just walking around with the sock with her cart to check out. And she paid for the sock.
That's
Wow.
great.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, I just wanted to like rattle off a few of those because they were really funny. But anyway, Margaret, thank you so much for being on our show. You're awesome.
Thank you.
We're so happy.
Thank you.
And again, for people that don't follow you, where can we follow you on social medias?
People can find me on Twitter at Margaret Cho and Margaret_Cho on Instagram.
Awesome. So go check her out. We all love her. And thank you again for doing the show.
Thank you so much.
Delightful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Stay safe out there. And I can't wait until we can all go out and actually hug people and see live things.
That's one thing I miss the most is hugging.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah.
I know.
Again,
Well, happy pooping, everybody, and toot
Thank
toot
you.
toot.
all right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hey Poopy Podcast is brought to you by Perfect 4 Entertainment. Produced by Dave and Ellen, with executive producer Stormy Leather. Edited by me, Dave.
For more information, go to heypoopypodcast.com for episodes, merch, and more. Follow us on Instagram at heypoopypodcast and Twitter at heypoopy. Theme song by Jordan Pearlson. Hey Poopy.